Welcome to the KinderPage podcast from Toronto. Today is July 30th, 2025, and we're doing a deep dive into structured play for problem solving.
It's a fantastic topic. Just a quick note before we jump in. This podcast is based on research, but as always, listeners should verify any specific details for their own situations.
Good point. Okay, so we're talking about play today, which always sounds like fun, but this is different, right? We're focusing on play that specifically builds brains.
Exactly. We're zeroing in on something beyond just, keeping kids busy. Structured play, especially when it's aimed at problem solving, it's fundamental. It helps develop critical thinking skills they'll use forever.
For their whole lives.
Absolutely. Think about challenges later on work, life decisions. The groundwork for tackling those can actually be laid way back, right here, during play.
Wow. Okay.
So our mission today is to unpack what this kind of play actually is, why it's so beneficial, and give you some really practical, easy ways to bring it into your everyday life, like starting today.
Okay, let's get right into it then. Structured play for problem solving. It sounds a little formal, maybe. What exactly do we mean by that? How is it different from just, say, letting kids go wild with Legos?
Yeah, that's a really important distinction. It's definitely not rigid like a classroom lesson. Structured play like this usually involves activities with some gentle guidance or maybe a challenge kind of built into it.
Okay.
So unlike totally free play, where the child leads everything, these activities have, let's say, thoughtful elements designed to nudge them towards certain skills.
Nudge, I like that.
Right. But the key thing is it's still fun. It's still mostly child-driven. You're not giving them the answers. You're just crafting the scenario. Someone put it really well, basically. In thoughtfully designed, structured play, we're not telling children what to learn. We're creating situations where they discover solutions through their own thinking and experimentation.
That's a great way to put it. It emphasizes their discovery, not just us teaching. So less lesson plan, more like a clever invitation to figure things out. Can you give us some examples, like what does this look like on the floor with the kids?
Sure. Think about building challenges. Instead of just build something, maybe it's, can you build a tower that reaches this mark on the wall, but it has to be strong enough not to fall over if I stomp my foot.
Oh, okay. Little engineering test.
Exactly. Or simple science stuff. Give them a tub of water and a bunch of different objects, a leaf, a block, a spoon, whatever. Ask, okay, which ones do you think will float? Why? They start making guesses, testing them out.
Forming theories, basically.
Precisely. Even classic games count. Like a simple board game where they need a bit of strategy or card matching that works memory, pattern recognition. The structure gives just enough focus to get those problem-solving gears turning without killing the fun.
And that brings us to the why. We've all seen it, right? That little spark in their eye, the I did it moment when they finally figure something out. It feels good to watch.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's more than just feeling good. It's actually like building their brain.
Oh, absolutely. It's transformative. When kids wrestle with these kinds of challenges, they're developing some really core cognitive tools. First, you've got critical thinking. They're figuring out what works, what doesn't, why, making connections.
Okay.
Second, persistence. This is huge. They learn that the first try often doesn't work. There was this fascinating study showing kids who did more open-ended problem-solving play early on were much less likely to just give up later when things got tough.
Less learned helplessness.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. Third, creativity. They don't just find an answer. Sometimes they find really clever, unexpected ways to solve the problem.
Right.
And all of this builds confidence, a real belief in their own ability to tackle stuff. And the research backs this up. These experiences strengthen neural pathways, especially in the prefrontal cortex. That's the brain's command center.
So it's literally wiring their brain for better problem solving.
You got it. We're teaching them how to think, not just what to think.
That's really powerful. It's not just about stacking blocks then. It's setting them up for life.
Yeah.
So let's get practical. What specific kinds of play really nurture these skills? Because I think a lot of parents wonder, are these toys actually doing anything useful?
It's a fair question. And the good news is lots of everyday play is perfect. First up, building and construction play. Blocks, Lego, Duplo, even cardboard boxes. When kids build, they're bumping up against real physics balance, stability, how shapes fit together. It encourages engineering thinking.
Engineering thinking, I like that. Designing, building, testing.
Exactly. Even a toddler trying to stack wonky blocks is, like you said, a mini engineer figuring things out.
Love it. What else?
Then there are strategy games and puzzles. Simple board games. Candyland isn't just about colors. There's turn-taking, following rules, matching games, puzzles. They all build logical thinking, planning ahead. Even tic-tac-toe gets them thinking strategically.
Yeah, you can almost see the gears turning when they pause before making a move.
Totally. Next is sensory exploration with purpose. So, water tables, sandboxes, simple science experiments. These let kids form theories and test them directly. I bet this rock will sink. Splash. Yep. It's cause and effect, the basis of scientific thinking. They're using their senses to analyze the world.
Okay, makes sense.
And finally, creative challenges. This is where art kind of meets logic.
Okay.
Yeah, like an art project with a goal. Okay, using only these pipe cleaners and paper cups, can you build something that can hold this pencil? Or can you make a boat out of foil that actually floats? It mixes creativity with that analytical, how do I make this work thinking. Really fosters innovation.
That's brilliant. And the best part, like you mentioned, you don't need super expensive educational toys for this, right?
Yeah.
What are some simple things folks can try at home, maybe for different age groups, using stuff we probably already have?
Absolutely spot on. No need to break the bank. Let's start with the little ones. Toddlers, say 1 to 3 years old. Try shape-fitting fun, but with a twist. Put the shape sorter just a little bit out of reach. Then leave a tool nearby, like a wooden spoon or a small grabber toy. Suddenly, it's not just shape matching, it's a problem. How do I get that shape in the hole? They might try reaching, then maybe use the tool.
Like a little physics puzzle. A mini MacGyver moment.
Exactly. Or obstacle courses. Just using furniture you already have. Go under the puffy table, now over the pillow mountain, now around the chair. It's fun, physical, but also builds spatial awareness, planning. How do I get my body through there?
Okay, simple but effective. What about preschoolers, 3 to 5?
A really fun one is a rescue mission. Put a small toy inside something tricky, like a clear jar with a narrow opening they can't just reach into. Then give them some tools, maybe tongs, a piece of string with tape on the end, maybe even an uncooked piece of spaghetti.
Oh, I like that.
The challenge: rescue the toy without tipping the jar. It really gets them thinking, testing different tools, working on fine motor skills, and sticking with it.
I can picture the intense concentration.
Yeah.
And for building.
Stick with building challenges, but add a scenario. Okay, can you build a house for this little toy pig that will keep him dry if it starts raining? Then you can gently test it with a little sprinkle of water.
Okay, instant feedback.
Right. They see immediately if it worked. Maybe the roof leaks, so they try again, add something. It encourages iteration, learning from mistakes.
Love the oops, let's fix it part. What about a bit older, early elementary, maybe 5 to 8?
Marble Run challenges are fantastic, but instead of just giving them the instructions, give them the pieces and an open goal. Okay, build a run that starts on this table and ends in that bucket across the room.
No right answer, just figure it out.
Exactly. They'll be experimenting with angles, connections, speed. It's physics and engineering, but feels like pure play. Endless tinkering.
Sounds like fun I'd want to join in on. Anything else for this age?
Yeah, maybe a simple machines investigation. Give them a challenge like, how can we move this fairly heavy basket of books from here to there using only these things? And you provide maybe a ruler, a pencil, a piece of cardboard to make a ramp.
Levers and ramps.
Right. They discover how these tools make work easier. It connects play directly to real-world science concepts. You could ask, which way was easiest? Why do you think so?
That's fantastic. So pulling back a bit, what does this all add up to? We see the fun, the problem solving in the moment, but what are the really big, lasting impacts on a child's development?
Oh, the impacts are huge, and they spread across, well, pretty much everything. Cognitively, first off. We talked about cognitive growth. This type of play sharpens analytical thinking, planning skills, boosts focus, and memory gets a workout, too, through that trial and error. They remember what didn't work last time. It's building those core executive function skills.
The brain's air traffic control.
Right. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Managing, planning, working memory, self-control, all that.
And emotionally.
Yeah.
Failure and trying again seems so important these days.
Crucial. Emotional development gets a massive boost. They build frustration tolerances. Learning it's okay if things are hard. It fosters a growth mindset, the idea that I can get better at this. Yeah. Mistakes become learning opportunities, not reasons to quit. That builds resilience and, of course, huge confidence when they succeed.
What about socially? Does this kind of play help with getting along with others?
It definitely can, yeah. For social skills, think about kids working together on a block tower or a marble run. They have to communicate ideas, maybe negotiate. Let's try your idea first. See things from another person's perspective if their part isn't working. It builds empathy, cooperation, turn-taking, understanding how others think.
So it's not just parallel play. It can be real collaboration.
For sure. And finally, Think about academic readiness. This all lays groundwork. Building develops spatial reasoning needed for math. Science experiments introduce the scientific method. Talking about what they're doing expands vocabulary. It prepares them for school by building those underlying thinking skills, making formal learning easier later on.
Okay, this sounds amazing. But is it only about this structured stuff then? What about just letting kids run wild with their imagination? Is there a balance?
Oh, that's such a critical point. Balance is everything. Absolutely everything. Think of it like a balanced diet for the brain. Structured play gives focused practice on specific skills, introduces concepts.
Right.
But unstructured, free play, that's where imagination explodes. Creativity runs wild. Kids direct everything themselves. They process things they've learned, consolidate ideas, apply them in totally new ways we'd never think of.
So they needed both.
Definitely. The sweet spot is plenty of time for both throughout the day or week. They're not opposites, they're partners. They complement each other perfectly.
Okay, that makes sense. Not replacing free play, but adding this layer. Which leads to maybe the trickiest part. How do we, the adults, support this kind of thinking play without just taking over? It's so tempting to just jump in and fix it for them, isn't it?
It really is. Our instinct is often to help or show the right way immediately, but the key is to be more of a guide or even just a curious observer, not the chief problem solver.
Okay, so what should we do? Give us the dose.
All right, do? First, allow time. Lots of time. Thinking takes time. Sometimes it looks like staring. That's okay. Patience is key.
Okay, patience. Got it.
Second, do ask open-ended questions. Not, is that right? But, what do you think might happen if you tried? Or what else could work here? Get them talking about their thinking.
Encourage reflection.
Exactly. Third, do acknowledge their effort, not just the result. Wow, you're really concentrating hard on that. Or I see you trying lots of different ways. That's great thinking. It validates the struggle.
Focus on the process.
Yes. And fourth, do offer minimal hints, but only if they're truly stuck and getting frustrated. Something tiny like, have you thought about turning it this way? Or is there another piece that might fit there? Just a little nudge.
Okay, minimal hints. So what about the don'ts? What should we actively try not to do?
Good question. The pitfalls. First, avoid solving it for them. Resist. That aha moment is theirs. Let them have it. It's where the deepest learning happens.
Good skill, the aha.
Okay. Second, avoid rushing them. Let their process unfold, even if it feels slow to us. Third, avoid focusing only on the correct answer. Sometimes the wrong way leads to an interesting discovery or a totally creative solution you didn't expect.
Value the exploration.
Right. And finally, avoid comparing. Don't say, look how quickly your sister did it. Every child learns differently at their own pace. Just remember that struggle, that effortful thinking. That's not failure, that's learning in action. That's where the magic is.
That's a great way to think about it. Struggle is the learning. Okay, so we're sold on this. How do we weave it into everyday life, maybe beyond just dedicated playtime? And what should parents look for in, say, a daycare or preschool?
It's easier than you might think to integrate. Think about during everyday activities. Cooking together, that's full of math measuring, counting, sequencing, folding laundry, sorting, matching, spatial awareness, grocery shopping, budgeting, decision-making. Turn chores into thinking opportunities.
Sneaky learning. I like it.
It is. And use thoughtful questions all the time. When they're building, how could you make it stronger? When they're playing, what do you think will happen next? When they're stuck, is there another way you could try that? Just prompting that deeper thinking. And you can also set up simple challenges, nothing complicated. Can you build a bridge out of these blocks that the car can go under? Or how can we get water to that plant without using the watering can? Just stuff from the kitchen drawer. Maybe even, what things in this room could we use to make music? Just little invitations to problem solve.
Using everyday objects. Great. And for childcare, what are the green flags to look for?
When you're looking at programs, ask questions. Do they intentionally set up challenges? Can they explain how an activity helps build specific skills, not just that it's fun? Do kids get enough time to work through hard things themselves, or do adults jump in too fast?
Right.
Do they notice and maybe even document the process of how kids solve problems? And crucially, is there that good balance we talked about? Plenty of time for both structured activities and free imaginative play. A quality program values and provides both.
That's incredibly helpful. What a fascinating deep dive. It really shifts the perspective on play, doesn't it? It's not just killing time or letting off steam. It's genuinely fundamental work for their development.
It absolutely is. You know, we live in a world so focused on academic milestones, it's easy to forget that play, especially this kind of thinking play, is building those foundational executive function skills. And those skills predict success later in life, arguably even more than early academic scores. When kids are thinking, experimenting, failing, trying again, succeeding, they're not just playing. They are literally building the brains they'll use to navigate everything life throws at them. Complex problems at school, challenges at work, even tricky personal situations down the road.
It all starts here. Amazing. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with today is this. As you go about your day, consider how even the simplest challenge you offer your child, just a gentle prompt to think a little differently, could be laying the groundwork, building those neural pathways for their biggest aha moments yet to come.